What's going on, everybody? You got the Crazy Dog back for another video. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about this team right here, the Cleveland Indians, in the World Series for the first time in 19 years. Yeah, 19 years. It's nothing special. And we're going up against a team that hasn't been to the World Series in 71 years. Yeah. I mean, it's not like, they haven't won a freaking thing since 1908 or anything. Yeah, I mean, people are picking the Cubs, which I expected that, right? No one's given the Indians a chance at all to win the series, except us Cleveland fans, because only we believe in our team. That's why we've got the mantra Cleveland against the world, because the world don't believe in the Indians, or in Cleveland sports for that matter. They didn't believe in the Cavs. But look what happened. The Warriors blew a 3-1 series lead in the NBA Finals with the unanimous MVP. Yeah, I had to say it. I got to take any opportunity I can to remind you guys that the Warriors blew a 3-1 series lead in the NBA Finals with the unanimous MVP. Yeah. So it's only fitting that the Indians have to face the best team in baseball, the 100-win Chicago Cubs, who also have the longest sports drought in baseball. Well, the longest drought in baseball. Although I'm pretty sure it's also the world's the longest sports drought too. The last time the Cubs won the whole freaking thing was 1908, whereas the Indians was 1948. 40 years. Yeah. Now, if there was a title for this series, it'd be Drought versus Curse. Simply because this would have been Curse versus Curse had the Cavs not done what I said before, which was, coming back from 3-1 to beat the Warriors, who had the unanimous MVP. Never gonna let that down. But anyways, it's only fitting that the Indians face the best team in baseball. It's only fitting, you know. I mean, the Indians aren't necessarily a very powerful team when it comes to money. Money. We're not a humongous. We don't have a humongous market. We're not like the Yankees or the Red Sox. We can't just go out and sign any free agent we want. No, we have to pick and choose. Luckily, this year we picked a few good guys, such as Mike Napoli and Rajai Davis, who, if I'm not mistaken, leads the league in stolen bases. Yeah, he led the American League in stolen bases. He was like top 5 in the whole majors. But yeah, that's pretty good, you know. That's pretty much one of the big things that's gotten us this far, is our base running. I mean, when you have to watch your back to make sure our base runner is not stealing second or third, that puts a lot of pressure on you, and it could make you throw a bad pitch that could wind up in the seats, and you could be down by, however many runs you're down, however many people are on base. If there's two, it could just freaking collapse for the opponent right there. But that's not the only thing that, that's helped us get to this point. Our pitching has also helped us out. Yeah, our pitching, which has pretty much been our strong point, or one of our strong points this year. Kluber is looking like an ace that we know him to be. Tomlin, he's good. Heck, I think he was like 9-0 or somewhere around there, and then he just started struggling for some reason. Bauer, Carrasco, and Salazar have been back and forth. They've been up and down. I remember when Cody Anderson was our starter. I believe he was our starter at the beginning of the year. Then he just sucked horribly and was pushed to the pen. He really hasn't seen too much time on the mound this playoffs, and I'm kind of happy about that. But I'm just really curious as to why Bryan Shaw is even on this team, because he, yes, he does have his, his time when he's actually good, but most of the time he is bad, and yeah, no, I don't like him very much. You know, I honestly think Mike Clevenger would be a better reliever than that dude. I don't know, but all I gotta say is thank goodness we made the move to get Andrew Miller, because it must really be menacing knowing that our starting pitcher can go. If our starting pitcher can go 7, 8 innings, you can go right to Miller and he'll shut down the side. He'll freeze the lineup. You won't have to worry about having any response runs if you score. you know. And then to clean up the mess, you bring in Cody Allen and he'll seal the deal. Hopefully. Unless he blows it. Which he does have a history of doing that. He almost blew it against the Red Sox in Game 3. I'm just lucky he enforced a pop-up. If we would have lost Game 3, I have no idea what would have happened after that. There would have been a rebellion against him, I know that. Because people were already saying Miller should have been our closer. That would have just helped people out, helped people's cause for why Miller should be our closer. But it doesn't really matter where he is in our rotation, in our bullpen. I just want him to go out there and strike people out, which he has done that a lot this postseason. Now, the thing about this series is we're going up against a pretty good pitching staff in the Cubs. Of course, they got some pretty good pitchers in their rotation. Arrieta. They got Lackey, Lester, and Hendricks. They also got some pretty good hitters. Dexter Fowler, Jason Hayward. Yes, Jake Arrieta, because he can actually hit the ball too. I mean, didn't he hit like a 3-run bomb on the Dodgers or something like that? I think it was the Dodgers. Yeah, I think it was. Or it might have been the Giants. I'm not even sure. But that dude can smack it too. Not to mention they're getting Kyle Schwarber back. So that's going to be much needed help. It's going to be fun, The Cubs have come a very long way from Carlos Zambrano and Lou Piniella. If you don't know who Lou Piniella was, or if you just don't remember who he was the manager for the Cubs that would always go nuts and just throw fits at umpires whenever there was a bad call. He was always entertaining to watch. But, yeah, I think this is going to be a very, very fun series. Both teams got very good pitching staffs. Both teams got some offensive firepower. Yes, a lot of it. Both teams got some good defense, too. I mean, our infield is pretty solid. You got Napoli at first, Kipnis at second, Lindor at shortstop, and, of course, Jose Ramirez, Mr. Clutch, at third base. I mean, our outfield's okay. We got Chisenhall. You got Davis or Naquin, whoever, wants to be back in center field. And then, at left, you got Coco Crisp or Rajay. It doesn't really matter. They're like interchangeable, which makes them really good and unique. Now, if I had to give you a prediction for this series, I'm going to say Indians win, of course, in 6 games. Yeah, Indians win in 6. Win it in Cleveland, which means Cleveland will be partying again for the second time in 5 months. Yep, and it's going to be lit. I'm going to predict the MVP of the World Series will be none other than the Grim Reaper himself, Andrew Miller. Yes, that is my nickname for him, the Grim Reaper. Because when he enters the game and you're losing, you're probably going to lose the game. Because he very rarely gives up runs. Very rarely. In fact, I don't even think he's given up a run this postseason. And he's just out here making people look stupid. I would hate to go against Andrew Miller. That's why I'm glad we picked him up. Granted, I would have loved to have Chapman, but Andrew Miller is just more fun to watch. Because with Chapman, he just has speed. You know, with Miller, he just makes that ball go all over the place, you know, and it still ends up a strike. I just love watching him make batters dance. But this is going to be a fun series, you know. But yeah, you know, shout out to I don't know how many Cubs fans are on YouTube. You know, I know there's Judah Tribe, but he might be the only one in the TTC. But yeah, now I remember Browns fan 64 came at me a while back in the Q&A video and asked me, why have I not talked about the Indians? And I told him, I responded to his question by saying, well, it's kind of hard to talk about a team that has 162 games on its schedule. You expect me to do 162 videos a year about the Indians when this is the Browns channel? No. I'll talk about the Indians when they're in the postseason. And sure enough, I did it. So, it's only fitting I do a World Series video. Did you really think I was not going to do a World Series video? Come on now. But yeah, I'm Crazy Dog 99. Go Tribe. Bring it back to Cleveland. Let's party again. Hope we can party. It's going to be fun. By the way, I wonder if Bartman's ever allowed back in Wrigley Field again after what he did in 2003. That's crazy, man. Well, I'm Crazy Dog. Go Tribe. Hashtag rally together. Let's bring it home. Cleveland against the world. Let's do this. I'm pumped. Let's go.